Cafe, where ideas take shape, thoughts find depth, and every conversation explores the art of thinking beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest. He's a serial entrepreneur, CEO, value creation expert, as well as a keynote speaker, no other than Mr. Lee Benson.
Hello, Daniel. It's great to be here.
Welcome, Mr. Lee. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Of course. I am Lee Benson, CEO of two different companies right now. One is ETW, or Execute to Win. Another one is Dinner Table. And both are focused on creating value. ETW is all about creating value within organizations faster, increasing the value of each organization. And Dinner Table is all about creating value within families a lot more intentionally. And I've started 8 companies from scratch, and I'm not even close to done. I just love being on the front lines, doing this work of creating more value in the world.
Creating value. I like that, Mr. Lee. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. Hoping for more and more empowering values to come. So, today, let's talk about unlocking value creation. Tell us, beyond the textbook definition, how do you personally define value creation in the way that resonates with both boardroom and a new employee?
Yeah, thank you for that question. There's so many out there that talk about adding value. And I think the better way to say it is actually creating value. And within an organization, I think the number one job of the CEO is to continually and responsibly increase the value of their business. And by proxy, the senior leadership team's job is to continually increase the value of the business as a team. And the goal is to align every single employee with the value that they can create that altogether leads to increasing the value of the business. And the big difference here is everybody's focused on increasing the value of the business. If it's worth $1 million today, $10 million today, can we have it worth 10 million or $100 million in 3 or 4 years? And let's look at that target. Let's see where we're at, and let's all do things that are going to march it in that direction and have fun doing it.
Have fun of doing it. I like that, Mr. Lee. So tell us your best-selling book, the most important number increase collaboration. What is all about?
Yeah, in my book, Your Most Important Number, it's really about this alignment to increasing the value of your business. And the concept in there, or the system, is the mind management system. And mind, the acronym, stands for most important number and drivers. So at the top of an organization, we're valuing it if it's based on some version of profit. Let's say EBITDA is the most important number. And if we sell it, we might get 10 times that or more or something less. And then every single team or function within the business will have a most important number that when that improves, it improves the value of the business. And this one number, you have a plan for it. Where are you starting? Where do you want it to be in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? And at any point in time, are we on track or not? So just imagine being able to see your entire organization, the value of it going up or down, preferably up, and every single team, red, green, or yellow, based on whether they're hitting their number to create the value that they were hired to create or that function was designed to create. So the mind management system, it's very comprehensive, includes strategy, performance, literally everything. And it's all around very easily and simply, elegantly, really, getting every team member focused on creating the most value.
Interesting, Mr. Lee. Interesting indeed. So tell us, many companies focus on extracting value. What are the key cultural and leadership shift required to, well, change the entire organizations towards a mindset of creation?
That is a great question, and I believe that all the work we do around leadership development, how leaders show up, the work they do to consistently create the most value, and culture. The reason those two categories are so important, it's all about increasing productive engagement. So you've got all these employees, they're engaged. You hired them to do a job, create this value, they're doing it, but the better we get at the leadership piece of it, the stronger we get at connecting culture to creating value, we get much higher productive engagement. So I've heard from a lot of CEOs that they don't believe they're getting much more than 20-25% productive engagement from their team on average. And this can be 20 employees, 20,000 employees, companies of any size. What if you could double that? What if you could have 90% productive engagement? So that's why leadership and culture are so important to get right.
Let's talk about your book again, Mr. Lee. What is the pivotal experience or case study that revealed the power of focusing an entire organization on a single most important number?
Great question. The mind management system has been implemented in hundreds of companies, and there are quite a few case studies that we've gone through. One in particular, let's just go small company to start with. Small company implements this for 3 years straight. They're stuck at about a $250,000 a month in profit, which is still a really nice business. They implemented the mind methodology or mind management system, and then 15 months later, they were running at $1.2 million a month in net profit and climbing. And the only difference was getting every team member aligned to creating value, improving their leadership, improving their culture, and off it went. And on the large company side, my business partner before he passed away was Jack Welch, the former CEO of General Electric. And with all of his experience, he had said, had he had this management system when he was still running GE, he would have made every one of the 400,000 plus employees participate with this system, and the results would have been exponentially better. There's one company in the oil and gas industry that applied the mind management system to organize strategy and execute on it. And this is about a $60 billion market cap company, and in 12 months generated over $200 million in additional cash flow by getting this really focused alignment to creating value. So I could go on and there's lots of examples.
Mr. Lee, tell us, how is the most important number fundamentally different from a standard KPI or a bottom line financial figure that most companies already track?
The nice thing about this methodology or system is that it's a little bit like every one of your employees are on a team and they're playing a professional sports game. The most important number is what's on the scoreboard saying they're winning or losing. They'll still track 5, 10, 20 other numbers to help them make better decisions to improve the number that's on the scoreboard when they get to the game. But it's a lot of fun and it's how teams prefer to work together. Really. It's not everybody in a silo. Set a couple of goals, set your own KPIs, get them approved by your manager, and rinse and repeat every quarter. With this system, every team has a number the entire team is organizing around to continually improve and keep on track with whatever the plan is. So we're winning or losing as a team, and it feels really good. That feels a whole lot better than everybody being in silos. Does that make sense, Daniel?
Makes sense, Mr. Lee. Makes sense. So, your book, your most important number, is it aligned to your advocacy to create values?
It is 100%. And what I developed was literally decades of me working through, systems that what works, what doesn't work, do more of what does work. And after a few decades, I landed on the mind management system and your most important number. So what you're getting in there is something I developed to run my businesses better. And I've had three exits so far. Two of those I sold at the same time in 2016 to a company called Textron, and they've done such a great job with the business after I sold it. But the return for us selling it and managing this way is that we got a 21.6x multiple of EBITDA when we sold this business doing about 100 million in sales and was very profitable. So applying actually makes companies worth even more money when it comes time to sell, or really at any point in time. And I've always thought about when you run a business, at any point in time, if somebody offers you a great deal to buy it, make keeping your business an even better option. And it didn't matter to me whether I sold it or not. Keeping it would have been a great option. Selling it was a great option.
Mr. Lee, the book promises to increase collaboration, achieve strategy, and improve execution. How can one number possibly accomplish all three of these critical business outcomes?
Yeah, and it's one number for the overall business. As I said earlier, every team has their own number that when it improves, it accretes up and improves the value of the business. And when the entire company can see that with a lot of transparency, all team members, they can share with each other what's working with their team to create more value, and vice versa. So it creates this collaboration, it creates accountability, and most importantly, it continually increases the value of the business, which is good for all the stakeholder groups, especially the employees. The opportunities to advance and grow and do so many things, more pay to support their families. The investors, it's great for them. It's great for the customers because they're continually improving. So being able to see this most important number at the top and all the cascading most important numbers that are going to be typically different than the one for the overall company, it just makes it so easy to see, manage, collaborate, and hold everybody accountable.
Mr. Lee, walk us through the first step a leadership team should take identify their unique, most important number.
Great question as well. I think the first thing that a leadership team should do is get agreement that it's their job to grow the value of the business. And sometimes I've asked the question, actually quite a few times, because I always ask this question, what's the most important job of the CEO? And I don't get a very good answer to it right out of the gate. And then I always say, well, philosophically, I think your job is to continually and responsibly, very important to do it responsibly, increase the value of the business. So once they get agreement on that, and you're deciding, well, what's the most important number, especially for a for-profit company? Well, how would you value it if you want to sell it today? And typically, it's a version of profit, but there are other examples of revenue for fast-growing startups, et cetera. But let's say it's profit. Let's say it's EBITDA. Well, what is the EBITDA today? Where do we want it to be in 12 months or 3 years? And based on what? And let's see at any point in time if we're on track or not. So the most important number for the overall business is going to be based on that business.
Interesting indeed, Mr. Lee. And how do you ensure this number is a direct reflection of the company's core strategy and not just a lagging indicator of general performance?
Well, the most important number for the business is going to be reflective of the number you would use when you're selling it. So that's a pretty easy one. As you go through the organization and you design different most important numbers for functions like HR or finance or engineering, production, service, marketing, sales, they'll all have their own most important number. And the test to make sure you've got the right number for each of these functions is, will it drive the majority of the right behaviors? Because every number or goal that the team goes after will drive a certain set of behaviors, and they won't all be value creating behaviors. So we want to make sure that whatever that number is will drive the majority of the right behaviors. Does that make sense, Daniel?
Makes sense, Mr. Lee. Totally empowering. What is the most effective way to introduce this concept to employees at all levels to ensure everyone understand how their role contributes to moving that number?
Yeah, when you roll this out at an organization, step one is agreeing that our job at the top is to grow the business responsibly. And then step two is to get alignment to value creation. So we've got a business model, an organizational structure. There's something that I like to call the value creation flow structure. So it starts with awareness. How do people know about your business? And then we have marketing qualified leads, we have sales qualified leads, we have closing sales, we have delivering the product, and we have ongoing customer experience. Every business is going to be different, but this is your value creation flow. And at any point in time, all of those links in there should be in balance and all getting better together at the same level. But you're invariably going to have some that are red, some yellow, some green, and it tells you where to focus. So we get everybody aligned to your value creation flow structure. And then we have support structure. We have HR, we have finance, we have IT, and more. How well are they supporting all the elements of your value creation flow structure? So getting alignment to creating value is getting that right and making sure every team member knows the role they play within that structure and the very clear measurable outcomes or value that they were hired to create are in place so they know objectively whether they're doing it or not. So step one, we're to grow. Step two, we're getting alignment throughout the organization, the way I just said. And then it keeps going to where step three is going to be about collaboration, culture, leadership. And you're moving towards really entrepreneurship, where every single team member in the organization, whether you have 10 employees, 500 employees, 1,000 employees, or more, are acting like the CEO of their own role. They understand exactly how they create value. They see exactly how it fits into the broader picture with the organization, and they're all working together and collaborating to move in that direction.
Mr. Lee, as a serial entrepreneur, CEO, value creation expert, and keynote speaker, what are your short term and long term goals?
My short, medium, and long term goals today are to permeate holistic value creation behaviors into the world. So, in all the work I do, consulting, all the companies that I've invested in, the two businesses that I'm leading today as their CEO, all the families that I'm working with, and there's about 41,000 parents in my dinner table family community from over 60 countries around the world. It's teaching them to intentionally create holistic value. And holistic value to me, it's material value, which is money and things. We all understand that. It's emotional energy value. I think positive emotional energy is the scarcest commodity on the planet because it supercharges everything that we do. And then, in fact, positive emotional energy is a X factor or superpower for leaders. I mean, I really think there's something there in a big way. And then the third category, I'm calling it spiritual value creation, which is about connectedness. And in all of my businesses so far, the ones I'm invested in, going to consult with, what are we doing to increase the value of the business? So we got the material piece there. What are we doing to supercharge all the energy, productive engagement within the business? That's the emotional energy piece. And what are we doing to drive and strengthen connections between the employees so that they feel like a team and they're more leaning in and working better together to create more value?
Good luck to your goals, Mr. Lee, and looking forward for more success. And what will be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be like you?
Well, my advice is be like you, not like me, but take some nuggets out of this session that Daniel and I have just been jamming on here to apply to your success strategy and create value in the world. And I would encourage you to remember how we feel going through life is what's most important. It's not a bunch of money sitting in a bank account or on a table. It's all of it. It's what it feels like going through life. But come up with your own strategy. Don't be like anyone else, but use them in terms of the value you can glean from their ideas, their methods, etc., to improve your success strategy.
Definitely. And thank you for that advice, Mr. Lee. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Well, I probably read about 50 books a year. One I read at least once a year is Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, just to get more and more depth out of what he was conveying and the value that he discovered through his incredibly, tough struggles in concentration camps. So that's one that just keeps me grounded in why are we here? What's our purpose? What's our meaning? Yeah, again, back to what does it feel like going through life, and that's something we can control and continually get better at.
Thank you for that recommended book, Mr. Lee. And before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my Abstract Essay is already in fifth season, Abstract Poetry in second season, my Book 101 review in fifth season too, Comedy 101 in second season, and my Food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101 third season, I'm a baby podcast Law 101 and Mental Health 101. Love Letters in the third season, and Movie 101 review and Music 101 in fourth season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcasts. So, Mr. Lee, if our listeners or viewers could take away only one core lesson from your book, your most important number, what would you want it to be?
Align everyone to creating value. That's the number one. And if anyone wants to learn more about the work that I'm doing, or so much around all these leadership concepts that we're talking about here and more, go to my website, etw.com. And if you want, join the Leadership Value Lab community. And once a month, I do a live call there. And please join us.
Yes, people, join Mr. Lee Benson. And one more, Mr. Lee, how can a company with a softer mission, like improving customer happiness or employee well being, distill into a tangible, actionable number?
Yeah, that's interesting. Now we're talking about culture. And if you have an alignment to like a mission statement or set of values or a vision or a purpose, before you even draft it, come up with a reason for having it that will make the organization more successful. And a quick example of that, if you have a mission statement, I believe a mission should convey the value that your company was designed to create. So a mission statement should tell your customers why they do business with you and tell every employee why they get a paycheck, because if we don't deliver on that value, our jobs are in jeopardy. So that's just one example of how each of your alignment tools, there should be a clear purpose for it and how it will make your organization more successful before you even draft it. And then when you do that, you end up with a much better set of alignment tools that everybody can get their arms around and really use productively to create value.
Mr. Lee Benson, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. Hoping for more and more empowering business to come. Hoping for more and more empowering books to come. So, can you please invite our listeners to support all your books, your advocacy, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Yeah, again, please go to my website, etw.com, join our Leadership Value Lab community. Order my book, Your Most Important Number. We just revised it late last year with an additional chapter titled Why Sometimes CEOs Fail. And on the website, etw.com, you can learn about all the work that we're doing.
Yes, indeed. So, Mr. Lee, Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Daniel. This was wonderful.
More to come, people. See you soon.